Hello, my crafty friends. I hope you're having a fabulous day today. My name is Robyn with Sir Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs. Today, I want to show you how I made these fun three-dimensional flowers using my Cricut Explorer and Cricut Design Space. They were really very easy to make, and I can't wait to show you. Let me give you a close look of these flowers. I think they came out so pretty. We have two different flowers here. We have a rose here and we have a heart petal design. Today we're going to make four different flowers. So I'm going to switch the camera around and show you my desktop. I'll be right back. We are now on my desktop, and if you look in the upper left hand corner of the screen, you'll see that we are on Cricut Design Space. The first thing that you want to do is add in the image that you want to make. To do that, we're going to look on the left-hand side of the navigation bar and click the icon that says Images. When we do that, you'll notice that there are a number of images that pop up. What we want to do is type in the search toolbar 3D flowers. As you can see, there are tons of flowers that we can choose from. For this project, we are going to make a hand-rolled flower, and I'm going to select this fun heart-shaped flower, this pink scalloped flower, and this purple spiky flower. And then I'm going to click Select Images to add them on to my canvas. Now that we have all of the images added to our canvas, we need to make sure that they are the appropriate size. The project that I made these flowers for required the flowers to be 2 inches in diameter. So that took a little bit of trial and error, but I did finally find some dimensions that worked. So let's start with this pink flower. The first thing that I'm going to do is click this little lock button on the bottom to deselect it. That means I can size it up or down in any way that I want. And in the upper part of the screen, you'll see the width and the height. I'm going to change the width to 6.852, and I'm going to change the height to 6.372. And you can see that it automatically adjusts the size of my flower. Now let's go ahead and do that to the rest of the flowers. I'm going to select Unlock, and then I'm going to enter in those dimensions again. 6.852 and 6.372. Now let's do that to the third one. Now that we have the flowers in the dimensions that we want, we could simply go to the upper right-hand corner of the screen and select the Make It Now button, and that would print out on our desired cardstock or designer paper. However, I want to use a digital paper that I purchased. To do that, I need to select the Upload button in the left navigation bar. Here you have two different options. The first option is to upload an image or upload a pattern, and that's what we're going to select. Here we're going to select Browse, and I'm going to go to my desktop to find the paper that I want to select. I'm going to select this pink and blue paper, and we'll call it Pink and Blue Paper. Save. Now this will upload this image into Cricut Design Space so that I can change the colors of the flowers as I need to. Now we're back on our Cricut canvas. I'm going to select my pink flower, and if you look in the right-hand navigation bar, you'll see that the pink flower is selected. Let's click the pink button. This allows me to change the color of the flower. What I want to do is a print and cut. If you look at the top here, you'll see Cut, Write, Score, and Print. I'm going to select Print, and that gives me the option to select Patterns. Here is where we will find the pattern that we've uploaded. I'm going to select that, As you can see, the flower has changed to the paper that I've selected. I'm going to go ahead and change the colors for each of these flowers. So I'm going to select the red flower, select the red button, print, select patterns, and we'll make this black and white polka dot. As you can see, the color has changed. We'll do the purple, select patterns, and we're going to make this black and blue. And our image has changed. Now I want to add in one more flower, which is pink. Now I've already cut this previously, so I'm going to go over to the right navigation button, and here's a light baby pink flower. I'm going to unhide that, and that appears on my screen. At this point, what I will do is select the Make It Now button. These images will print out on my printer, and then I can attach it to my mat and put it through my Cricut Explore to cut out. These are all of the flowers that we cut out. As you can see, we have the black and white polka dot, we have the scalloped flower with the blue and pink paper, the light pink, and then this fun fringed black and white flower. The first flower we're going to make is this light pink and white flower. Now before I start making it, I do want to point out a few things. You can see that it's got this scallop, and this is the top part of the flower, and in the center you'll notice that there's this little tiny circle here, and that is actually going to be the base of the flower. So I'm going to take the tip of the flower and start rolling it towards me. I want to make sure that the bottom of the flower is even, and you want to keep it fairly tight. Now the one thing you may be wondering is, why am I rolling this rose with the design paper inside? That means the outside of the rose will be boring and white. Well, actually the opposite is true. I want the inside of the flower to have the pretty design paper, because that is the part that's going to be rolled outwards. And this is what it's looking like so far. Okay, so when you get to the end, sometimes the paper wants to go a little wonky, so you just want to hold it together. And then you have these last few pieces here. Now remember, this part here is the base of the flower. It almost looks like a little hat. So now what I'm going to do is, before I glue anything, I'm going to wrap this last little bit around. I'm going to put the flower base on the bottom, and then I'm going to allow the flower to open to the size that I want. And as you can see, this is similar in diameter to the flowers that I've created here. Okay, so I'm just going to keep working the flower, and then I'm going to turn it over, and I want to take my art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue this little piece here, some of the side pieces, just so it won't come undone. Hold that down. I'm going to glue this little piece here. This will hold it together. Let that set for a little bit. And then I'm going to take this little bottom part that looks like a hat, and then take my hot glue gun, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on that base. Be sure not to burn your fingers. And then I'm going to put it over the base like so. I'm going to put it on its bottom and let it sit. And now I'm going to start curling out some of the flowers. You see that I'm pressing the top down so that that base gets a nice strong adhesion, as you can see here. And I'm just going to start, I'm going to leave my thumb here because this is still loose in some areas, but before I glue the rest of it, I want to start bending these flower tips back just like so. I'm going to go row by row. And if you have a little quill, you could also use that, but I find that just doing it with my finger is the easiest. Now what I want to do is go back and glue some of these areas The reason I didn't do that initially is because I wanted to have the flower open even more as I was curling it out. I'm just pressing in the base like so. Now the other thing that you could do to add dimension to this is also distress the edges and just put a little paint on it. You can do that before you curl it, or it's also fun to do it when the flower is intact because it gives it yet another dimension. For our flower, we're going to add some glitter paint to it. And there is our first flower. Okay, I'm going to set this flower aside, and we're going to start on this fringed flower. I'm going to start rolling it towards me. This makes a really fun design. You want to make sure you keep the edges aligned and even. This one is actually a lot easier to roll. It's coming along nicely, and periodically check the base to make sure that it's nice and even. See how quickly this is coming together? Okay, and so you see we're near the end of the base. Push this in. And what I'm going to do is sit this down and let it unroll. And then I'm going to lift it up. We're going to glue the base here, the side petals, just so that it doesn't further unravel. Hold that for a few moments. And then we're going to take this little base, again what I call the hat, and apply some hot glue, and we're going to glue that onto the bottom. And we're going to turn this over, and we're going to start bending back the edges. As you can see, I'm just taking my fingers and randomly rolling them back. And that's our second flower. Isn't that pretty? I love the way that paper looks. Okay, we are going to do our heart flower. As you can see, the little petals look like cute little hearts. We're going to follow the same process and just twist, keeping the bases even. And for this, I'm actually going to be squeezing the petals in half, just like this, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Keep the base even. I was really amazed at how easy it was to make these flowers. There are so many different flower options in Cricut Design Space, so if you've never made your own flowers, the easiest way I think to start is using these hand-rolled flowers. You can make them as small or as large as you want. Put some glue here and here. Okay, I'm going to let these unroll. That looks good. I'm going to start to bend back some of the flowers. And then I'm going to pick it up, apply some hot glue. Okay, so now I'm just going to start curving out each of the petals just like I did for this pink flower. And in nature, there is nothing perfect, so any of the imperfections that you have in any of these, I think just makes it a more authentic representation of a true flower. That's great. I'm going to add in a little bit more glue here on the side. Okay, and then we have this last flower, which is the rose. We're just going to roll this like so. Okay, we're almost at the end. I'm gonna let this unroll, and then I'm gonna lift it up and then start gluing some of the petals just so that it holds its shape. Okay, I'm gonna flip it over, and then we will start bending down the leaves. Okay, and there are our 4 flowers that we've created. We did that in no time. Now I want to embellish this further, and I'm going to add some glitter paint. In this example, I don't know if you can see the glitter, but I did edge each of these flowers with a glitter paint. And the paint that I used is this Martha Stewart multi-surface glitter, and it's called Sugar Cube. Now you can use your stickles or any other glitter paint that you want. So I put my glitter paint here, and I'm going to start lifting them one by one, and I'm just lightly brushing the paint onto each of the petals. This just gives it a nice little finish. I have a little plate here. I'm going to put these on to dry. I love this flower. I think this one is my favorite. We're going to do this one. This is the heart-shaped flower. Okay, and here's our last flower. I'm going to use my heat gun and I'll be right back. Now we have all of our flowers dried. They are ready to be embellished with some fun gemstones. These are gemstones that I picked up from Michael's. And in the center, I'm using this Scrubby Sparkle string. I think this is so much fun, and this is what I used for the centers of these flowers here. So I'm just going to take a small amount of this thread. I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers, maybe 3 times, and cut it. I'm just going to bunch it up, and then I'm going to open up this little black flower here in the center. So I'm just putting a dab of hot glue in the center of the flower, and I'm going to take this tool and just stick it in so that all of this string is attached. And I can cut off pieces if I need to. And then we'll do it for this blue one here. I'm going to take some string, wrap it around my fingers 2 or 3 times, cut it, bunch it up, and then I'm going to fill the center of the flower with hot glue. I'll stick this inside. I love this little tool. The last thing to do is to add the gemstones. I am going to use these faceted pearls here. Okay. I'm going to take the gem, put a little hot glue on it, just a little bit, and then stick it in the middle. And then I'm just going to hold it down like so. And there's your flower. Okay, let's do this one here. Put some hot glue on it, and I'm going to push it in. These are our finished flowers. Hopefully I've inspired you with some fun and creative ideas. If you like this video, please take a moment to give me a thumbs up, and also leave me a comment to let me know if you'd like to see more tutorials and other fun projects, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye for now, and happy crafting.